Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten some news here, and interesting news at that, as WWE is the king of the grind, as they would say. And it sounds like they running from it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Kenny, let's go on ahead and get your thoughts. Go on ahead and tell us about this issue here today, or not an issue. Could be very good for the wrestlers, actually. And it may just lure some more wrestlers to go over to that side. So, Kenny, go ahead, man.
Bingo. I was just about to tell you. I don't know the full story. This is something you're telling me right now, so I'm finding about it in the moment. But apparently, they're cutting their live shows down, or are they cutting them out completely? Do we have
No,
any
not
idea?
completely. It'll be cut down. So it'll be like usually there's about 300 events a year. Now we're going to be
Mm,
at less than 200, which is a big
less than
cut.
200.
Yeah,
Okay, that is a
usually,
pretty big cut.
yeah, it's a big cut, and I heard that it's going to gradually go down every single year.
Mm.
So,
You know why? It's because WWE is in the mud. They're not selling out these live shows,
nah,
man. Ain't nobody coming. I mean, what you expect them to do?
I mean, honestly, man, I'm not. They'll probably have a couple like important ones, like the Christmas tour.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
might have some Road to WrestleMania shows, but I think the ones like around dead season, like I consider this like kind of dead season right now, like for wrestling, especially for WWE, because WrestleMania, that's when it heats up. We see peak
Hmm.
wrestling. But right now, I think like it's pretty much one of those times where I don't think you should be doing house shows. I don't think everything is booming as much as a Road to WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, that's true. And to be honest, I think it might benefit them a lot more if they cut down on the house shows, because if you cut down on the house shows, make them more special, I think you can charge more for the tickets and you can kind of make up for the price that you cut them down by. So it could work out for them, cut down on the house shows and make them feel like bigger events because you're doing them less often. And I think more people will show up. So there's some positives and there's some negatives in it, because WWE has been doing house shows pretty much since I was alive. They've been on the road week after week after week. I think they slowed up when COVID came around, and then they never picked up as much as they were doing previously. So it's a pretty big change, but I don't think it's as drastic as it would have been. Like if they were still running the way they were running before COVID. So interesting decision though.
Agreed. Now this news right here could have some wrestlers potentially thinking about, all right, maybe WWE is not as bad, because we obviously know that workload is kind of insane. It takes away from your family, takes away from a lot of things in your personal life. So, like, how do you feel about this? Like, do you think WWE can kind of bring more talent now? Because like I said, a lot of the complaints was workload, compared to AEW where you work 3 nights a week, if that. So go ahead, Kenny. Let me know, man.
Yeah, that's actually the next thing I wanted to touch on, because I think this is not just made based on, you know what, we're traveling too much. We want to give our wrestlers a break. I think this was definitely made based on competition. I think AEW is forcing their hand when it comes to certain things, because for one, I don't believe they've been paying for wrestlers hotels and things like that before AEW came around. Now WWE is apparently doing that.
Yeah.
And they're kind of negotiating with these talent, like when it comes to, okay, we can pay you this much. Now we see AEW standing right there with them, like, okay, we can pay you this much, pretty much either matching or beating out their prices. So if the price isn't the main thing, what comes next? It's the schedule. Now you just mentioned their families. These wrestlers are going to want to spend time with their families. And one thing I said to you before was, if you were offered a job where you had to work 1 day a week, and then you were offered another job where you were making pretty much the same money, but you had to work 5 days a week, which job are you taking?
I would take the one where I ain't working as much, but getting
Because
paid the
that gives
same.
you time, right? That gives you time to work and make that money at your job. And if you want to do something like, let's say, go deeper into your YouTube career, you got that many more days to do it. So, I mean, when it comes down to negotiations, I think that one day these AEW wrestlers work is going to be a big turning point when it comes to making your decision that makes them go that way opposed to the way of WWE. So I think this has a lot more to do with negotiations than they would let off.
100%. I do agree with you with that. I do think that it is something that we should be looking out for. And I think that I don't know if it'll really cost the money, because obviously it takes money to get set up. It takes money for
Hmm.
all of that. So I don't know if
Yeah.
they're just breaking even. I don't know how much profits they're making. A lot of the profits probably come from merch and things like that at the arena itself when,
Yeah.
people are
True.
there. So there's a lot that goes into this, man. I wonder if this will, negatively affect them. I don't think it will. I think
I don't
it'll
think so.
actually bring some more talent. I think, like, I'm really confident in more talent going over to the WWE side now, knowing that that workload is lower. You're definitely going to still be on the road, but it is lower. And I did hear, like, now WWE is doing certain things too with wrestlers. Like if wrestlers ask for a week or two off, they try to accommodate them as much as possible compared to back in the Vince McMahon era. That wasn't really a
Mhm.
thing. It was like if we need you, we need you, and that's what it is. You're on the contract. You got to be here, and that's just one of those things where it comes down to that as well. You know, wrestlers may be potentially asking for less time because now they have more time with their families instead of being on the road. So there's a lot that's gonna go down there as well.
Yeah, looking up the information here, it shows that WWE they actually lose money on house shows. So I think it's an interesting thing when they're trying to bring in money. They drastically reduce the size of the stage
Yeah,
to make to save money. So I think moving forward with TKO, their goal is really going to be to make money and cut out as many things as they can when it comes to losing it. So I think it's going to be a big benefit for them overall. But you got wrestlers like Maxine. You got wrestlers like some of these NXT guys that need to get more reps in front of crowds. So that's a
agreed.
big benefit they have. You can get the wrestlers in the ring more often and get them that experience in front of a crowd. So that's a big dip they're going to take when it comes to actually getting their talent more time in the ring. But overall, I think it's going to be a big positive.
I do agree 100%. So I am looking forward to that. And one last thing, Kenny, I wanted to bring up to you. Did you hear about Saturday night main events coming back? That's your time, my boy.
Saturday night main event is what I. Oh no, come on now,
The
come on, bro. I'm 28 years old. What are you talking
The
about?
NBC show, bro. You that was around your time.
Uh, I never watched that episode. That was before my time, young man. Just to let you know, my time was Monday Night Raw. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. I don't know about all of this Saturday night stuff. Well,
Well,
maybe that was Saturday night. I don't know.
do
I
you
have
think
no
that this
idea,
is
to be
going to be
honest.
something that sticks around? I heard that they did sign a deal with NBC where it's going to be a couple episodes. But do you think this is something that they could potentially bring back?
I don't think so, man. Look at AEW Collision. Nobody, and that's a good show. But personally, I'm not watching wrestling on Saturday
Me
night. There's
neither,
so much
bro.
other things to do. Unless it's a pay per view. I mean, I'm going to watch UFC or something. So I never think Saturday night shows is a good idea. Collision needs to go. WWE Monday, Saturday Night Wars. Get it off air before you even get it on there. It's not a good idea.
Agreed. I do
And when are
think
they going to record this?
I don't
Like
know.
during.
I think it's gonna be live. I think it's gonna be
Oh,
Night main event live, and I think that it's probably gonna be something bigger than what we think because it is like a special deal they signed with NBC. But we kind of got to stay tuned for the future. I definitely wanted to bring that up since we're talking about house shows being cut. Could this be something that they now throw out there? You know what I'm saying?
could be something that they're kind of putting it like we'll take these resources and put it on this Saturday night show. Y'all who aren't working as many house shows, we're going to put you on this Saturday night show instead. So everything could go hand in hand. Cut out some dates. We'll just do this one spot right here, and everybody's making more money off it. So hey, WWE, they when it comes to the money, the chicken, the dinero, the chili, I'm not gonna lie, those guys know how to make it. So I don't doubt them one bit.